Hi, welcome back to 1/6 RC Tank Workshop. Since first setting up the channel, I've had some queries about how I apply Zimmerit to Armortek tanks. In this video, I'll show you how I do it. I'll show you how I make the tools for applying the Zimmerit. I'll show you the materials I use. I'll show you how I form the Zimmerit on the vehicle. We'll also have a closer look at some of the Zimmerit on my vehicle. During the video, I'll put up some notes on Zimmerit, why it was introduced, when it was discontinued. Zimmerit, it's an anti-magnetic coating. It was designed by a company called Zimmer. The Germans had designed a magnetic mine that they could attach to vehicles, and they were assuming that the Allies would use something similar. So to protect their tanks, they wanted to put a coating on it, an anti-magnetic coating, and they came up with Zimmerit. I'll put up a description of what the components of Zimmerit were. When you're applying a Zimmerit coating, you really need to have a good idea of what the Zimmerit on your particular vehicle would look like. This isn't original Zimmerit. So I base my Zimmerit on wartime photographs rather than museum exhibits. There are plenty of publications with good wartime photographs. So the best thing to do is try to work out from the photograph the size of the Zimmerit pattern. Here on the turret you can see it fairly clearly, and also along the side of the hull. So by taking a point to point, count the number of Zimmerit stripes and scale them down. You can also get good images of the patterns around the mantlet. This is the best way to create a realistic Zimmerit. Here's the simple homemade tool I use to apply Zimmerit. It's just a small paint scraper. I've cut it so that I have the right width on the blade and a slight curve on it. And this is the one I use for Tiger Zimmerit. I hope you liked the video, hope you find it useful. If so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button also, and if you have any queries, add something in the comments. Subscribing to the channel costs nothing, but you'll be able to keep up with all future videos. Here I have a piece of aluminium plate, it's primed. I'll show you how I go about adding Zimmerit. Here I have some old Milliput that I'm using just for this demonstration, just a manageable amount. I don't like to use too much, work at a small amount each time. You need to knead this with your fingers till it's well mixed. This is the Milliput product. Get equal parts and knead it well with your finger. This is old Milliput, so it's a bit hard. My piece of Milliput is well mixed now and it's softened up a bit. Just going to flatten it out a bit. Next, some baking paper or greaseproof paper. Just 2 small pieces and something I stole from the kitchen. Stays in my workshop now, just a rolling pin. So you put down your greaseproof paper with your Milliput, 2 layers, and just keep rolling, occasionally separate it. And roll more. It helps sometimes. Remove it. Use your fingers to thin it out a bit more. It's also, I recommend doing it on a hard surface. I was using a mat earlier and it's a bit soft. The hard surface helps to thin the Milliput. Here's my flat piece of Milliput. I'll just peel it from the greaseproof paper. If you want, you can cut a straight edge on. Here we have the Milliput on the piece of plate. And I'm going to push it to the edge. And then next I'll use the tool to make marks in the milliput. It's good to moisten the tip occasionally. And that's pretty much how I apply Zimmerit. You can go over it as much as you want and tidy it up. It will take a few hours to dry, probably overnight. But once it's dry, it's rock hard. And I've had it on tanks for over 12 years and no chipping. You can make different size tools for different patterns. In the case of the Tiger, I found from looking at photographs that the pattern on the turret is completely different from the pattern on the side of the hull or the front. It's a wider pattern, so you can make a different tool for that. Also, other tanks might have a sort of a waffle design, so you can make your own tool to make that. If you want, you can also leave sections blank where crew might have knocked off a piece of the Zimmerit. Other tools I've used on the channel before are these homemade pieces of aluminium tube, which I've shaped for making weld marks in various sizes. A large weld mark, slightly smaller one, and then a very small one. I said before, areas where the milliput ran out here can simply be left. Just like here would show an area where the Zimmerit came off the vehicle. It adds a little bit for weathering, bit of interest. You can see similar along the mantlet here, where it replicates milliput being knocked off. And along the front glasses, maybe it took a light hit. It adds a little bit of interest. Studying photos will give you a good indication of the Zimmerit pattern. You can see on the turret here, on the side of the turret, the pattern looks different than the main hull. Slightly longer and it kind of overlaps a bit. And you can see the patterns on the front of the mantlet different again. But you can follow the pattern as to how the Zimmerit is laid on. In this photo, you can see a few bullet marks on the side of the turret. Clearly see the Zimmerit pattern on the side of the hull. Again, this is a good photograph showing the difference in pattern between the hull Zimmerit and the turret Zimmerit. So now let's have a look at the Panzer IV. It has a slightly different application of Zimmerit. You can see here the Zimmerit is a smaller pattern. The Panzer IV also has Zimmerit applied to the mudguards. Here you can see the Zimmerit pattern I'm applying to the front of the turret. Turning to the side of the hull, you can see there isn't any Zimmerit on the upper hull. It's all on the lower side of the hull. The upper hull was protected by shirts, and same with the turret. These will be added at a later stage. Here you can see the Zimmerit pattern applied to the lower hull. It's fairly patchy. I've left gaps where Zimmerit would have fallen away. And now onto the rear hull. You can see most of the rear hull is covered. Again, the rear mudguards are coated in Zimmerit and it's been left fairly patchy. And then onto the base of the hull. You can see the Zimmerit pattern here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All subscriptions are appreciated. Please place comments below. I'll try to get back on all comments.